Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our Stories hosts, where we are having the wonderful Melanie Lawson, founder of Bear Biology, joining me today for our Stories Hosts Live. So, you're very welcome. Hi, everybody. Hi, guys. We're just going to wait for Melanie to send me a request to join. There we go. Very prompt, Melanie. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We're just waiting for Melanie. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you? I'm just checking my sound that I can hear you. How
Yeah,
are you doing?
yeah, good, thanks.
What's the weather like with you this Friday?
It's a bit overcast, which is why I'm sort of like snuggled up to the window to try and get a bit of natural light on my face because my ring light broke. So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
you look amazing. You look amazing. But no, thank you so much for joining me today, just for our stories hosts. And just I was introducing you there myself, but I can see there's more and more people joining. So I'm just going to give them all a little bit of an overview. But then I want you to tell everybody who you are and a little bit about yourself. So you are the founder of Bear Biology, as we all know, as the amazing omega-3 and marine collagen brand. You are the preferred choice of nutritional therapists and stocked in leading retailers such as Selfridges, Liberty, Whole Foods, and Planet Organic. And you founded the business as a result of your own postnatal depression. And I'm so delighted that you're joining us live to tell everybody that's joining us a little bit about how on earth do you do that from coming through something yourself and then actually launching a brand from it is absolutely incredible. So tell me a little bit about yourself and where it all began.
Sure. Well, so I have 3 kids and I'm in my late 40s. People are always keen to know how old you are. So I'm 49, Daily
You're
Mail.
going you're going to join the 50s soon then.
Yeah, in January. So yeah, that's a bit scary.
I
Um,
know.
yeah.
I'm there already,
Oh,
so
are
I know
you?
exactly what it's
Oh,
like.
are you? Amazing. Yeah, and I had so my background is in advertising and marketing from years ago, and gave all that up to have kids. Did the whole, stay-at-home mum for a good 7 years, full time. And it was after my second child that I got postnatal depression pretty badly. I actually think I had prenatal depression. It's only looking back that I realised that I was quite bonkers while pregnant as well. And
Oh, and I can relate to that as well, having been through it myself. And you do look back and you go, wow,
yeah,
what mindset was I on?
I know. And at the time, you don't really. And also, what was odd was no one else really noticed either. I think maybe people just think, and we just moved to Brighton from London, and I guess a toddler in tow, pregnant, moved house, you're probably not going to be on top form. But yeah, nobody really noticed, which is quite
Yeah,
telling.
yes.
Yeah.
I know I can look back myself when I went through it. I have 4 kids, but I went through it really badly with one.
Hmm.
And I was the same. It was the same with me. But so you actually went through that. You had then, was it 2 children or 3 children at that stage that you decided to look at the omega-3 and the
Hmm.
effects of it on your health? Did you have
Yeah.
the 3 kids then?
No, so it was after Oscar was born. He's my second child, and my mother had been really ill on and off most of her life with depression, and she was in hospital with postnatal depression. And I thought, I was terrified of that. I was also really aware of I didn't want to put my kids through that, having been
Yeah,
through that. But I was really scared of taking medication because I was seeing the side effects of that on my mum. Didn't want to go down that road. I don't really like medicine and farmer stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So I started doing research into nutrition. What can you eat? Could you change your diet to help? And that's when I discovered that omega-3 is a key nutrient,
Yeah.
which no one tells you in pregnancy, post-pregnancy, while you're breastfeeding, because
Yeah.
all the baby needs omega-3 for their brains and eyes to develop, and they get it from us. So
Wow. Yeah.
it made total sense to me that we lose a ton of omega-3 when we're pregnant and breastfeeding, and
Yeah.
then you're told not to eat too much fish because of mercury, and so you limit your omega-3 when you need it the most. And I didn't take a supplement, and I think that really contributed to being ill.
And that it's incredible because you are correct. You're not told these things, and you have to refrain from tinned fish oils, etc., as well when you're pregnant. So
Yeah.
the fact that you went through something and then had this absolute desire to actually conquer it without going down the medical route is absolutely incredible. So for those people who are joining, I know a lot of people know about the omega-3s, but can you sum up what is the benefits of fish oil, and just not in pregnancy, but it does affect everything from infertility as well, doesn't it? Right through to all different types of health
Yeah.
deficiencies that it can actually relate to. So tell me a little bit about that, what that
Mhm.
actually looks like. What is
Mhm.
fish oil, and how does it affect us
Mhm.
positively?
Yeah. So, I mean, people obviously they hear about cod liver oil, especially if you're of our generation.
Yeah.
People sort of think, oh, is it cod liver oil? It's not. It's actually slightly different. So, fish oil omega-3 is effectively the same thing. Omega-3 is the essential fatty acid that you get from oily fish.
Okay. Okay.
And omega-3 it's called an essential fatty acid because we absolutely need it, but we can't make it, so we have to eat it.
Okay.
And there are two important types of omega. There's lots of types of omega-3, but the two really key ones are called EPA and DHA. And so DHA forms a big part of our brain tissue and eye tissue, and that's the one that the babies are sucking like mad out of our
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah.
EPA is associated more, it's anti-inflammatory, so it has health benefits for the heart. Also, you'll see any sort of things like endometriosis, PCOS, any inflammatory conditions, arthritis. So EPA and DHA, you're looking for an omega-3 supplement. Those are the two you need to look for and
Yeah.
have within them.
Yeah, wow. It is incredible because just some things that you're mentioning there, I'm going, gosh, tick, tick, was all part of my life, but I had no idea of looking at that time. And then you think of how you suffer, and you just don't have the knowledge of knowing that there are supplements out there and probably when I was going through it, there wasn't the focus on supplements as much as there is. And
Mhm.
actually that's probably why. But I love how actually I was just reading as I was preparing for this a little bit on your website. It said, your quest for the best fish oil led you to Norway,
Mhm.
to a village in Norway, but your children were all small at that stage.
Yeah.
And that was looking for the very best fish oil producer. How on earth do you manage that when you have young children and you're looking for, not just a fish oil, but you knew that you wanted the very best
Mhm.
for your brand. So how did that come around?
Well, I first had the idea about starting a fish oil brand after my third child was born, when
Yeah.
she was about one, because I hadn't suffered with her, and but I was eating loads of tinned sardines, mackerel, taking a good quality omega-3 from America. Um, so that's when I kind of thought there's a real lack of good quality fish oils in the UK. So I just started doing a bit of desk research, looking at manufacturers. I came across this one and thought, well, I have to go and see them.
Yeah.
Um, so I actually met them at a trade show in Geneva. There's a big trade show every year for health supplements effectively, and thought they were great. They ticked all the boxes that I was looking for, but I said, I need to come and see where you make the fish oil, and see what you are like as people. And so yeah, it was very stressful actually, because I was really kind of had just been a housewife and mum for so
Yeah.
long. I hadn't worked for ages, and I'd never been to Norway. I've never really traveled much on my own. So yeah, it was quite scary.
Yeah, it's very similar to my own story. Was full-time mum, and I laugh. I always say full-time mum, but actually, I am still full-time mum. Nothing has changed. But you know what I mean. I was a stay-at-home mum,
Yeah.
and then I went on this quest of a hobby and something that I was really passionate about. And then all of a sudden, have a passion to launch a brand. And my kids were all up a little bit. So my youngest two girls at that stage were they're 15 now, so they were only about 10 at that time. So they weren't as young as your kids.
Mm-hmm.
But I suppose, just to share with, the followers that are listening today, what was it that actually gave you that real impulse to launch the omega-3 brand and really share your experience with the rest of the world?
Mm-hmm. I mean, the main thing is I know that omega-3 can make a huge difference. And, obviously I would say that because I'm selling an omega-3, but it is astonishing. And we get so many customer reviews who literally say, this has changed my life. This has changed my child's life. And it's such a simple thing.
Yeah.
And so I believed in it 100%. I also had some confidence in my background in advertising and branding. At the time, although there's a huge amount of supplements on the market now, even more so, but at the time, everyone's, the fish oil manufacturers actually said to me, we think you're crazy, because especially in the UK, she said, in the UK everyone's really price driven on fish oils, and you're selling expensive fish oil, and but we think it's great, but we think you're a bit nuts. But I would just go in to either Whole Foods or Planet Organic and just look at the range, and everything just looked so miserable and all looked the same. And I thought, I know I can do a better job on the product, and I know I can do a better job on the branding, because it's terrible. So I guess, and also I thought, I've got nothing to lose. I didn't have to, if I were having to put food on the table for my children, and I had I have a husband who's got an income, it might have been a different story. I mean, I think women like, J.K. Rowling's a good idea that springs to mind, who are penniless and in a terrible situation, and then do something phenomenal whilst mum and have no money, I think are amazing. So, I didn't have that stress. But I speak to lots of people who are, I want to do this. And I said, well, just do it. There's nothing to lose.
I know, absolutely. And what I love about yours, they are unique. You've really brought something really different to the market at the time that there wasn't. But not only that, you actually sourced, if I'm right, fish gelatin rather than the pork and the beef. So was that important to you to be able to have that in your product?
Yeah, definitely. And I eat meat, so I don't have an issue with taking a pork or beef gelatin capsule, but it didn't make sense to me to put a fish oil in that. So there are lots of pescatarians, or for religious reasons, who don't want a pork capsule. So it seemed kind of like obvious to me. And I remember speaking to the capsule manufacturers, and they were like, oh, no one asked for fish gelatin.
So you were really breaking out and bringing something really new to market. So I know myself, and being a founder, and how difficult it is to do that. What was it like for you to have from the idea to sourcing, your fish oil, to the gelatin, to the packaging? What was the experience from then taking it to the shop floor, or was it online first of all? Did you launch via your website first?
Mm. Yeah, so I had a little Shopify website, and which I had built by a guy in Brighton for 500 quid, which was brilliant. And I had one product, which is our now called Life and Soul, and our liquid.
Okay. Yeah.
Used to be called Lionheart. And yeah, launched online. Obviously, nobody bought any because nobody knew we existed. Couple of friends bought a couple of units, and then my big break was with Liberty.
Okay.
So I don't know if you remember, not many people remember this, but they used to do the Great British Open call where,
Yes,
yeah, no,
absolutely. I do. Yeah.
brilliant. And I'd always loved that shop ever since I was a teenager. And I just thought, oh, it was just my dream to get stocked in there.
Yeah.
So I applied to go to the Great British Open call, and then you get 4 minutes to pitch to the buyers. And I pitched it as a, skin product because it is so
Yeah.
good for skin. And they took it, and I couldn't believe, I couldn't believe, I like was in shock.
Yeah.
And then that opened other doors, because then you could go to other, and Space and K then took it.
Yeah.
Well, if Liberty have got it, it's got to be good.
Yes.
And that was the key. That I give people a lot of that advice is, you don't have to launch with loads of SKUs jargon,
Yeah.
loads of different types of product.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had one, and if you can just get it into either, just get a little bit of credibility either through an influencer or a retailer, then that just gets you opening other doors.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember being introduced to you when I started my journey, probably about 3-4 years ago. I spoke to you through a mutual friend, and that was your advice, because I had so small SKUs, and you were like, no, don't worry, because I've had like one SKU for so long.
Yeah.
But so your advice to other people out there in terms of who have maybe got the idea of launched a brand, or who are are in that middle of production. Obviously Liberty was your first. That was 2013, am I correct? Was that
It was March 2014.
2014? Yeah. So I mean, then it was different. You had to go and pitch and etc., which I think would be more nerve-wracking, to be honest, rather than the way you do it at this stage. But so that was, your first one. What was it like then? Because I know you are the forefront of your brand as well. You're a female-led founder in the middle of your brand, and that's where you want to be. So you're going to these appointments. Can you share a little bit of what that is like? How do you pitch to the buyers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that is the only face-to-face pitch I think I've ever done, or maybe to Whole Foods, because they're so difficult. Yeah. Oh no, I lied. Actually, the person who introduced us, who was at Space and K at the time.
Yes, yes.
But she'd been warmed up by Susanna Taylor from Get
Okay.
for me, which was very kind. So she was.
I hope she's watching. I'm sure she was a hard one to crack. But no, so no,
yeah,
that's
so lovely.
It's so yes, amazing.
So with Liberty, I mean, I had 4 minutes, and they press a clock, so it's it's full on.
Yeah.
And we talked about this the other day. I'm not much of a one for prepping and rehearsing, because then it all comes out wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm too worried about remembering my lines than what I want to say.
Yeah, yeah.
So I kind of knew what I wanted to say, and I just was very honest and just said, omega-3 really helped me. It has incredible health benefits. All the ones that are available are terrible. This is the best one because of this reason. It's great for the skin, I think, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, would you like to try some? And I was really nervous because, not everyone likes a liquid fish oil.
Yes, yes.
I kept it cold in a little cool bag because it's nice and cold. And I poured a little bit out, and they tried it, and they were like, actually, that's really nice. And then they said, so, and you've done all this with 3 kids aged between 2 and 6, and they had a baby quite recently, or one of them was pregnant, and I said, yeah, no, then they were just like, yeah, we love it. So it was weirdly easy, but also I think they were in that mode of looking for new
Yeah.
brands. I think I know there's some, I was talking to a food brand the other day, a sort of Indian baby food brand who's just started out, and she's going to a thing where you can pitch to different grocery buyers.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, that's quite stressful.
Absolutely. And I think also you play yourself down quite a bit. You know, they were at a stage of looking for something new, but you had something incredible to show them. And you had created this product that was new, very much new to the UK market in the levels of sophistication and obviously luxury and the finest fish oil that you could possibly get your hands on. So definitely, I think they've seen that in you because you've expanded and grown, and you know, you're in an independent brand, and I suppose that's been challenging as yourself because you've remained mum to 3 kids, but then again you've really tried to, you know, to bring this wonderful brand out, and your stockist lists growing. You know, I've watched some of the podcasts, etc. you've done, which is amazing to hear more about, you know, the factual side of fish oils. But do you find being an independent brand challenging? You know, obviously things are a lot slower when it's financed yourself at the beginning and everything. So but would you do things differently if you had to do it again? Would you think you would look to investors, or do you love being an independent brand, growing organically and slowly?
One of my favorite questions. Without a doubt, I wouldn't change anything. I do not want investors. I never want investors. I know you should say never.
Yeah.
You know, circumstance might change, and that, you know, if I got ill or something, I might have to. But
Yeah.
touch wood, I don't. But no, I have lots of friends and people who have gone down that road, and it's not for me because I can make decisions by myself. They're not always the right ones, but I don't have to justify them to anybody.
Yes.
I don't have to dilute what I want to do. I think we have amazing customer service because we are so generous, is the wrong word, because I think, you know, we should treat our customers like gold. If there's anything wrong, we put it right, no matter what it takes.
Yeah.
And I want accountants and investors saying, you're spending too much on this, so, you know, only these people can have a refund, or, you know, your business starts being run a bit by numbers.
Absolutely.
Instead of by human.
Yeah. No, I tend to agree with you, and obviously being an independent brand and self-financed as well, you know where you want to go and you know what you want to produce, but everything is just so much slower. And it's lovely as another founder giving me that, like I take on that advice as well, because we want to grow and we want to scale up really quickly, but yet again, we do not want to give part of our business away. And I have only 2 full-time workers, and I have a wider team of PR, etc. But our in-house team is, you know, I lift the phone and answer. People will get me on the phone and customer service line, you know, but they don't necessarily know they're speaking to me. But I don't necessarily not want to do that, because you want to give every person a founder experience. You know, I am passionate that I listen to people, I talk to the consumer, I talk to and hear what they're saying, and if they have an issue, I want to correct it. And I'm the same as you don't want that to be taken away from you, and it becomes numbers rather than actually passionate from the heart. So I 100% get that. I love having this conversation because you're further down the line than me. So it's actually, I become a bit of a sponge and take everything in. But also just sustainability, I know, is really important to you. And, you know, why sustainability important to you?
We were talking about this the other day because it's World Earth Month or, you know, one of those months. And I was asked to talk about it, and I said, thing is, you sound like everyone else because we all sort of say the same things. because there's a sort of narrative almost that you have to follow. But so
Yeah.
then it sound like I'm just ticking those boxes because I need to sound like I care.
Yes.
But I actually really, from day one, it's like, well, number one, I won't look at anybody who doesn't have certified sustainable fishery supply.
Yeah.
When I approached manufacturers, that was the first question.
Yeah. Good.
And
Yeah.
then like, well, okay, forget it then.
Yeah.
Don't take it further. The in terms of, I mean, the way I've used sustainability, it's not wasting anything.
Yeah.
We should eat fish. I think we should eat meat. I think, they're good for us, but we need to, I don't like intensive battery farm. I don't like it when animals are mistreated. I don't like food that's pumped full of hormones and antibiotics.
Yeah.
And so I think sustainability is just about respecting nature, respecting what we have here,
Yeah.
not wasting it, not abusing it. And then things like goes without saying, all of our packaging is recyclable. We're experimenting on our website with compostable pouches.
Brilliant. That's fabulous. Yeah.
And they're going, some people don't like them, but it's kind of, we do need to look at these things because also that reduces the amount of postal packaging we have to use because we don't have to protect the glass.
Yes. Brilliant. Yeah.
So just things like that. We nag our warehouse not to. They don't use plastic fillers and just
Yeah.
those kind of things that are basic, but actually not everybody does. Sometimes you receive something and you think, crikey,
I know.
what
Yeah.
made you think to
I
pack?
know, and so much more. I think when you have kids as well, I know it's so
Yeah.
important to my children, it was really important to me when at the beginning when I launched the brand at first, because of wanting to get something produced and out quickly enough. I didn't look at it as much as I should, but it was a promise that when I replenished that's what I did. So when we replenished our perfume, that's what we did. We really tried to look out of the box and do something really different than what the niche fragrance industry was doing. And I think if you're taking small steps and baby steps, it really does have an effect. So I love that, and I love your pouches because I was looking at them, and the fact that they can be that you can actually compost those, it's brilliant. So also another thing that you talk about very much is transparency. And it's amazing also how you do that because you test 3 times, and you also, the first test is completely independent, but you also share all your results with the consumer. So that is really good. And why is that important to you to do that?
Well, because when I was looking for fish oils, when I was taking supplements, at first I just would buy kind of regular one. And then I started doing more research, and then I found out about things like oxidation levels. So some people don't like fish oils because they repeat on them, they give burps. They shouldn't do that. That's, that means they've gone off.
Okay.
So they won't make you ill, they won't give you food poisoning, but it's
Yes.
basically like, when butter goes rancid, or lipsticks, in lipsticks, the fat in them goes rancid and they have that horrible smell.
Smell. Yeah.
It's oxidized fat, basically.
Right.
So I started reading about that. Then I started reading about mercury and arsenic in fish oils.
Wow.
There's this whole thing that sprung up in California where it was a big class action because consumers were taking stuff full of mercury and they didn't know.
Crazy.
Yeah, so off the back of that, a company called IFOS, which stands for International Fish Oil Standards, had a clever idea, to be fair, to go, right, well, we'll test fish oils and then we will become the kind of the standard for, and we're totally independent. You can't fudge the results. The results are what they are, and then they publish them on their site.
Yes.
So I then started looking for IFOS certified fish oils. We're pretty much still the only one here. We're the we can't say we're the only British brand. We're the first British brand, but the reason we can't say we're the only British brand is because there are some American brands sold here that have it.
Okay, right.
So IFOS won't let us say we're the only, but we are actually.
You are. Well, that's good. We'll shout that out. You are the only one. But it is amazing and it is great. And I think it's really taking off in the beauty world as well, that whole transparency as well. So I have one more question and then I'm going to have some quick fire questions for you. Just fun questions that I know everybody will love to hear from you. So that last question and such is best advice that you would give, some advice that you've been given in the past. What's the best that you would like to share with us? Or if not that, what would you like to share with the followers on launching your own business?
Right, okay. So the best thing, I actually read it, and it's Tim Ferriss, if anyone wants to look at his work. So he wrote a brilliant book called The 4-Hour Work Week, and that was my Bible. I basically did everything Tim said. And he says in his book, you should basically, you know, when you say aim, range, fire.
Yeah.
He says aim, fire, range.
Okay.
So basically what that means is people get caught up in, it's got to be perfect before I launch it. And then it takes forever. And he said, well, number one, your idea of perfect is not someone else's idea of perfect.
Yeah.
So it's all subjective. Until you get something going and out, you won't learn anything. You won't be able to start developing. So this whole idea of, you know, I've got to wait till it's perfect and then I launch it ignore that. So get something that's good enough.
Yeah.
You know, if it's a product, the product has to be exactly how you want it. But, you know, if you can't quite afford the packaging that you really wanted or the designer that you wanted, so, you know, we've done a huge rebrand. Our brand looks nothing like it used to.
Yeah.
You wouldn't, apart from the name, you wouldn't know it was the same brand.
Yeah.
Then do those things later. Start getting feedback, start getting some money in, and then you start learning things, you start meeting other people. So don't wait for it perfect, just get it.
Yeah. So really, if it's a product, get the product perfect as you want it. But in terms of the packaging and designing and everything, it's, you know, and I agree with you, because it's really get the product into people's hands, and no matter what it looks like, if they try it and it works, and or if it, like for perfume, if they try it and they love the smell, it is something that they'll fall in love with, and then you can make things better. So it's Tim Ferriss, 4-Hour Work. Is that
Week.
it?
4-Hour
Work Week. Okay.
Quite old now, but it's still, it has a great podcast. And
I'm gonna get that, and I'll put it in the comments as well when I repost this as well, for if anybody wants. So let's move on to the quick fire questions. That we have 7. What is your hero Bare Biology product? If somebody had to buy one.
Yeah, it would have to be, have I got it here? It would have to be Life and Soul.
Okay.
This is our original that was Lionheart, and this does everything because it's got EPA and DHA, high strength, really easy to swallow, not massive capsules, just that. And that's our number 1 bestseller. And it is, if you had to just get one, and you can use that in pregnancy, you can give it to children. We do a version which is the smaller mini caps. It's the same oil, it's just they're vegetable. Kids can take those.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Fabulous. I'm going to get those, definitely. Okay, go-to fitness.
Tennis.
Fabulous. Good.
Yeah. Not sure how fit it gets me, but I love it.
You like tennis?
Yeah. I love
it. Cocktail or mocktail?
Cocktail.
Good. I'm glad you said that. Which one? Which would be your favorite cocktail?
Anything limey, not too sugary. I don't like really sugary stuff.
No, same.
My favorite cocktail I've ever had was in Roka, which is a Japanese restaurant in London, and it was a rose petal Negroni.
Beautiful.
And it had this perfect square hand carved ice cube in it, and it was just
Beautiful.
fine.
Gorgeous. Sounds amazing. I'm glad it's Friday. It's putting me in the
Yeah.
mood. And your go-to lipstick color, because I've been admiring it on you. I love a red.
Well, we're wearing similar lipsticks.
Yes.
This is a Sephora one that I got in Madrid, but my favorite is Bobbi Brown, the pencil, the sort of stubby pencil, and it's sunset orange.
Sunset orange. It's lovely. Yeah,
Mm.
like it. Foundation or tinted moisturizer?
I use Trini London
Yeah,
BFF.
yeah, same.
I don't like her eyeshadows because they don't stay on. Or
Yeah,
her, by the way, I love Trini, so not that you
yeah.
know this, but she does take my fish oils, by the way.
Oh,
She has said so I'm allowed to say that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, her BFF is amazing.
Amazing. And
And
what I love about it is you can actually carry it in your bag and just keep retouching. And even if you're going out and you do put a bit of a heavier makeup on, you can actually put that on top and it just freshens it all up. But because it comes out in a little white, it comes out white on your hand, you're like, how can this actually give you color and even out your skin? So I definitely want to try her new range of skincare. I think that would be really good to try. But yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of that as well.
yeah.
Staycation or vacation?
Ooh, I'm gonna go by staycation. Do we mean in the UK or at home?
Yes. Yeah. UK.
I'm gonna go UK only because that's what I've got used to now.
Yeah, yeah.
Partly from having and flying with kids, miserable.
Yes.
I love Cornwall. I'd love to. My dream is to buy a house in Cornwall overlooking the sea.
Gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. And you know what? We've all got I think through lockdown, it really showed us that our country is so beautiful, isn't it? We get to look at things that we never did before.
Yeah.
So, clothes shopping online or in store?
Both, but I have got, and also we live in the countryside, so I have got quite an online. I do a lot of online shopping clothes.
Yeah. I would be the same. I detest going shopping in store. It's so bizarre. I love going makeup shopping and accessories, but for clothes, I'm definitely online. I know what size I am usually overall, and I usually strike quite lucky. But yeah, so it is nice to go into store, especially since we've haven't been able to do so for so long.
Yeah, I think that's it. And I like going shopping in London, like night. Like going into Zara and Brighton with girls is all right, but I wouldn't necessarily go my own.
No, amazing. Well, listen, Melanie, thank you so much. I could talk to you forever because actually I would just the whole thing about Miga's with the perimenopausal as well.
Well, that's huge
as well. I just want. We must do another live because it'd be lovely to actually talk to you about different, infertility and perimenopausal and endometriosis and all those situations and men's health. Obviously, I just feel sometimes men get lost, but this is for men's health as well. So I love that. So we must do another date for this and really dig deep. But thank you so much for joining. And there's been loads of people just loving and liking and sharing messages. So thank you and have a lovely weekend. And I will share this as well. And I'll put in, obviously I'll tag Bare Biology and the Tim Ferriss book. If I can find it, I'll tag that as well. But thank you so much for all your advice to us all. And you take care. Have a lovely weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.